Are you guys communists? Is Australia even safe? Do you know how to speak American? Bro, I just want to know one thing. Are these people not insane? Because you will not believe how little Americans actually know about Australia. So, as an American traveler who absolutely loves Australia, today I will show you the worst things Americans still say to my Aussie friends about Australia. But I have to warn you, these will be the dumbest things you could ever imagine here. Your sanity is probably begging you to quit the video right now. With that out of the way, let's get into it. And the first one is, what language do you speak in Australia? Oh my gosh, are you serious, bro? So, a few of my Aussie friends were traveling in America. I don't know why they would want to do that. It's not safe to travel in, bro. But anyway, they were having a conversation with an American inside America. I gotta point that out. When he suddenly decided to say this to my Aussie friends along the lines of, hey, what's the language of Australia? You guys speak Australian and stuff? And at first, bro, you would think they were joking like American humor, right? But two of my other Aussie friends also traveling in America told me later that an American literally said to them, hey, do you speak American in Australia? I mean, what do you think, genius? And with how many Australian actors and singers showing up in big movies in America, you would think this should be like common knowledge or something. But it's astounding how many times Aussies in America are still being asked about this. But what's funny is that one of my Aussie friends, apparently being sick of always being questioned by Americans about his English, decided to just say, hey, we speak American in Australia, but we write in English. And he says that's the only way for Americans to leave him alone. But that is only the beginning, bro. With so many down the line that you won't even believe it can come out of the mouth of someone. So take a deep breath and click the subscribe button if you loved the video so far. Because the next one is, I don't get it. Why don't Australians move to America to give their kids a better life? Please, why are you making me read this? This is so bad. Okay, so apparently one of my Aussie friends was asked by an American, hey, why are you traveling in America? And this is typical, right? I mean, you see people traveling in your nation and you wonder what they feel. But what she heard next was literally the worst thing you could ever say to an Aussie. And that is, hey, you know what? You should really save your traveling money to move to America. So when you have kids, you can give them a better life. And she literally stood there and couldn't believe how delusional some Americans are. Bro, I mean, just think about it. Does America have a better quality of life than Australia? You know what? Don't even waste time thinking about that. Because my Aussie friend already put it best. And they said, if you take away the top 5% of the richest people in America, then the rest of America is quite literally a third world country. So I guess it's fair to say the last remaining thing America is somehow still winning is that Americans can still buy a house at a reasonable price in most parts of America. But we don't know how long that's gonna last. I mean, my generation is totally doomed at this point. Okay, but now that we've got the less infuriating ones out of the way, can't believe I'm saying this, but the next one actually came from an American working a somewhat high-paying tech job in Australia. Just so you know, he should realistically not be saying stuff this crazy. And he said, well, Australia is a nice place and all, but how do you guys feel safe when you're not allowed to have a thing to defend yourself with? He tried to sound vague, but you know what he's talking about. Americans love to, how do I put this? Self-defense, right? So apparently this American didn't feel safe at all being in public spaces in Australia, like buses and trains, etc. So instead, he insisted on either driving himself or taking a taxi. Because according to him, not having a weapon to defend yourself is like not wearing any clothes in public. And after a while, they say he quit his job to go back to America where he felt a lot safer. We say this as a joke, bro. I live in California and basically just hide in my house all day with no social life whatsoever because I'm terrified of the crime happening out there and don't even feel safe to go and buy some groceries. So it's unbelievable to me that any of my fellow Americans can say to themselves that they feel America is safer than Australia. What kind of upside down logic is that? So maybe the better question is, and I got this a lot from my Aussie friends, is that how can Americans feel safe with all the crime that's going on out there? And I will always say that most Americans in their mind don't think it's dangerous, when the only nation we get to compare ourselves with is literally Mexico. But just in case your blood is boiling from seeing all these comments, bro, I got a few easier, lighthearted ones lined up for you. And that is, do you guys have any beaches in Australia? Oh gosh, I'm sorry, this is even worse. So one of my Aussie friends who was traveling at the time, sitting in his hotel when suddenly a guy just came up to him with a question this silly. And my friend decided to simply say, yeah, we do have 1 or 2 beaches in Australia, especially the one called Bondi Beach next to Sydney is kind of famous. And this guy apparently satisfied with this answer just left my friend alone. I mean, do you not even Google? My dear fellow Americans, what part of Australia being completely surrounded by ocean? Do you think to yourself that it's impossible for Australia to have even a single beach? And the next one is even worse, and that is, what kind of giraffe do you guys have in Australia? What do you think this is, Africa? And sorry, I don't have any footage of giraffes, so let me just draw one for you guys. So one of my Aussie friends, a really good friend actually, is still confused to this day how many Americans still believe that giraffes came from Australia. And apparently many of them will go on a big vacation here just to see the giraffes. And for that, you can simply say to them, bro, just go to the zoo and you will probably see 1 giraffe or 2. Also, many Aussie locals would say they're tired of Americans always saying, how come you don't have kangaroos on the street? Like, apparently in their mind, they imagine kangaroos would be all over the place just like cows in India. I mean, have you tried Googling stuff before you even decide to come here? But speaking of learning about Australia before coming here, there was actually one mistake that I personally made that was so embarrassing even till this day. And that is a wallaby just a baby kangaroo? So when I first saw a baby kangaroo at one of those petting zoos in Brisbane, I got so excited and basically yelled, oh, the baby kangaroo is so adorable. Only for my Aussie friend to literally tell me, mate, that's a wallaby. They're like completely different. But that would not be as crazy as the next thing Americans still believe they can do in Australia, and that is it possible to walk from Perth to Sydney if I just follow the railroad track? Please, for the love of cats and kittens, just stop already. So you know how Americans love to joke about how Australia is only as small as the state of Texas? Bro, just look at the map. Australia is 10 times, if not way larger than your pretty little Texas. And believing you can walk from one side to the other side is like believing you can swim across the ocean like a penguin or something. Please be realistic about the travel distance in Australia when you're coming here from America. And I mean, for this one, I have a personal experience of trying to walk from the airport of Perth all the way to the city of Perth, as it looks pretty close by on the map and should only take a few hours. But the security lady came in to stop me and said there's nothing in between the cities. And some people who did try doing that literally never came back. But believe it or not, that is not even the scariest thing coming out of American travelers. Because the next one is, whoa, you guys live all the way at the bottom. It must be freezing cold over there. And the American saying this to my Aussie friend was quite serious. Another one even said, do you have fresh fruits and vegetables in Australia? Okay, is it just me or do most Americans not even know the difference between Australia and Antarctica? Bro, last time I traveled to Australia, it was winter. Okay? Does any of the footage look like it's freezing cold where no vegetables and fruits can even grow? But it's no surprise when you think about that most Americans don't even travel beyond the American continent. So when any of us comes to Australia with crazy false belief like the ones you saw in this video, more than likely that's all we think we know about Australia. But what about you, bro? Did you ever get any unimaginable questions from American travelers? Put in the comments, as we would love to hear it all. But in the next video, I want to talk about the biggest things Australia taught me about America and being an American. And I'm saying you would not believe what it is.